And I'm afraid that with the things that are coming through, is the money that, for example, we're having to spend on extra plane duties or extra fuel duty or anything else, is it actually going to combat climate change, or is it merely a social engineering? We have killed off our car industry in this nation because suddenly people said, oh, you mustn't have these 4x4s, you mustn't have these other things. And so we killed off a whole load of jobs and a whole raft of our society because there's no joined up thinking on this.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I mean, it depends how you view the science, I guess, whether you look at that sort of empirical data, which we know some of it has been wrong or taken from slightly strange sources that now sort of can't justify those figures, or whether you do look, as Ed Miliband and others are saying, is that you need to not look at the empirical data sort of line by line, but just look at the general picture.
I have no doubt that the increase in human population is causing a problem on the Earth's surface. I think we all understand that, because if you go around our country and you see beautifully manicured fields, the fact that we grow things as crops changes the way that our environment is responding to us. But what I object to is that, first of all, we have no joined-up thinking. We do have an awful lot of waste that seems to be going on, and government policy isn't picking on the low-hanging fruit. We've got people telling us what to do on one hand and then doing another thing.
Well, well, let's move on to that. We can move on to the Mail on Sunday. And the man he's a climate change specialist, you know, the man sort of leading a lot of the voices on the IPCC, Dr. Rajendra Pachauri, and he's the one who told us glaciers were going to melt, which is, I mean, that's now been rescinded.
Well, that has rather. And this is the other thing is, which I think, you know, a lot of people do worry about these things, but when you are being told to do one thing, so for example, when you're being told to switch off your lights or not use your car or change your lifestyle, and then the people who are telling you to do that are not leading by example, it makes you wonder whether or not we should be doing it at all and whether we should be listening to these wretched blooming people. Here he is, he's got his chauffeur-driven car that takes him, as you say, 1 mile or 1 kilometre to and from the office. It's not even a green car or a hybrid car, which, quite frankly, I don't think these cars are any good for the environment, because they've got 2 engines and they've got the batteries and they've got all the plastic and everything else. You know, it's just ridiculous. I drive, by the way, an electric motor vehicle. So anybody who says to me, James, you don't understand, I've got a G-Wiz. It's the worst car I have ever owned. It's tax efficient, and I drive it to make a point, to say, we haven't invented the technology yet. It's imported from India. It's made of plastic. I'll probably die if it crashes. We need some proper joined-up thinking, and these people are not leading by example.
I mean, again, you know, whatever your views on electric cars and climate change and all the rest of it, there is an argument, isn't there, as the paper is making, that you do need to lead by example. You know,
you've got to, and also our country is so small in terms of the emissions. Unless America and China and Russia do something, and quite frankly, what we're doing is just taxing ourselves out of existence for the sake of making a point. Well, I would say stop it.
Very briefly in the Sunday Times on Gordon Brown and his career plans.
Yeah, Gordon Brown apparently is going to go on and on and on and on and on, and even if they lose the election, apparently he's going to stay on because the party needs him.
See, it's interesting, isn't it, that there's so many moves against him.